Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
The world is here.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva
The world is here.
Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva.
Hello, my name is Elvis Sequeira.
मैं हूं मलकीत सिंह।
Hi, my name is Sathak.
आप सुन रहे हैं ग्रेटर नोएडा का अपना सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन सुनो शारदा 90.8 FM।
The world is here. The world is here. The world is here. The world is here at Sharda University. Where are you?
Mohit Soni started his career as a graphic designer and animator in a modest studio based in Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Years of hard and smart work down the line, he went on to establish the largest multimedia training and production facility at Gwalior. Modeled on his own remarkable growth is his vision for change, characterized by skill and entrepreneurial development in the media and entertainment sector. He is the CEO of the Media and Entertainment Skills Council. He is credited for establishing some of the finest brands in the country like Spectrum Media, IIFM, iProf, Picasso Animation, Framebox, and many more. He has over 18 years of experience in developing new business alliance, media planning and buying, brand communication strategy, channel network, and setting up partnership with international and Indian academic institutes or universities. He has made significant contributions to almost all prominent media training brands in India. Armed with strategic acumen and sharp communication and negotiation skills, he has exhibited ingenuity in making tactical plans for businesses as well as developing large diversified teams.
How are you?
Going good, and good to see such a lovely audience today morning.
Okay. So I would like to inform everybody that MESC is also our knowledge partner. Media Entertainment Skill Center is also and is guiding us throughout in our syllabus formation, in our board of studies, in our faculty board, and we take their suggestions and we are moving forward with the new education policy. And I hope that with this our students are benefiting, and by the time they pass out 3 years or 4 years from now, they'll benefit more. So over to you for Media Skill and Entertainment Council.
So good morning, everyone, and I'm sure you must be enjoying this forum, which has been promoted by Sharda University. And I think it's been always a great pleasure to work with Ritu ma'am, Amit ji, Sanjeev sir. As a Media and Entertainment Skills Council, we have been working very closely to understand the skill gap requirements in the country and working to develop such talent which the industry is looking forward for today and as well as the future. I strongly believe media and entertainment is one of the sectors which has always been on the side of growth. It has seen a tremendous potential in the country today. And over the last 10-15 years, I'm sure you would agree with me that starting from anything to everything, media industry has taken a significant role and a part to play. During this time of COVID, when we are all sitting at home, I am sure something which is really entertaining and thrilling you is the content which you are watching, whether it is your television, whether it is your OTT platforms, whether it is your games on the mobile phones, or no matter whether it is your Facebook or the WhatsApps. We have seen this industry grow, and one thing which has been always there has been the demand for the right industry professionals to come in. That's where we as a Media and Entertainment Skills Council come in and play a critical role to understand the requirements from one side of the industry and then develop the training programs in lieu with it. Sharda is one of our training partners in working out a program model which can be offered across to the network of students in India and international students as well. The core objective is to see that the sector gets benefited from the creative minds who inspire to be in this domain, and the objective would be to identify such talent, give them the platform, and see if these can nurture as the brightest of the artists in the country today. So that's all I would like to comment on from Media and Entertainment Skills Council, and I'll be glad, Rituji, to take over the things from the questions if you have any, and then we can have an interactive chat with the audience.
Thank you, Mohitji. I think it is a wonderful session of yours, and you have always been a guiding light for all of us here at School of Media, Film and Entertainment. And I'm very glad that you are here for the conference also today. And there are so many questions. I'm very sure as a moderator, Ritu ma'am will like to ask you some questions. Ma'am?
In fact, I want to ask Mohitji a question from the leftover session till the time Rituji can compile her questions. You know, there are lots of questions being asked on OTT platform. Number one, now films are releasing theatrically. On OTT platform. No censor requirement. What is the future? What is the future of Bollywood post-COVID? And how does one go about adopting to OTT platform? I think, talk about that.
So, you know, everything comes with plus and minus. And there is a positive, there is a negative to each and everything. Today, when we could not get into a form of being in a picture hall, what saved our entertainment life was these OTT platforms.
Yes.
I think the screen has shrinked from the biggest of the screens to your 7 inches mobile phones. You watch everything, every content on your mobile devices today. And that's how the future is going to shape up. When it comes to content, I would say it's not just about Hindi content. You know, we have been knowing our country and we have been naming our cinema as Bollywood, whereas it is not Bollywood. It is Hindi cinema. There are different regional cinemas which have now gradually developed. If you see a multiplex today, you know, when you used to go to a multiplex maybe a cinema hall 5 years back from now, and today when you go, you see Bhojpuri, you see Kannada, you see Telugu, you see Tamil, and then you also see something from Hollywood. And then you have Hindi movies. You know, the competition has become very large. Today, content is the king, and OTT platforms are the aggregators for that content. It opens tremendous opportunities for the young buddies to come and present the creative art. You know, they can showcase their films today. Think of an artist, think of a filmmaker who does not have 10 crores or 50 crores of a budget to make for a big film. You know, today using his mobile phone and his creative powers, they have a lot of platforms where they can show the world what is the art and the creativity of filmmaking. Creativity doesn't mean a big picture hall. It is not restricted to something which can be high budget. So I think this is a great platform, and it comes with a lot of advantages. Like you rightly said, censor is one component which I'm sure gradually the regulations are being formed. It will be there, the control mechanism would be in place. But I have seen the audience also getting matured over the period of time. So today when you see the films, they are more towards a real life. They are more on the realistic world environment, and the stories which are there are more which can connect with us. So I think, you know, the need for censor would certainly come in. The regulations would certainly be required to control and mechanize the platform, standardize the content there. But overall, this is one area which certainly is going to grow in a big way. And we would see a lot of new artists, a lot of new content, a lot of new filmmakers coming in and enjoying the life of living what they would have dreamt of maybe 5 years or 10 years back from now.
I think things have to. things have to be formalized, because if you see, one of the prerequisite for national awards is that your film should be censored within a particular time span. And on OTT platform, there's no censor requirement. So does that mean the films releasing on OTT platforms will not be eligible for national awards?
Sir, as I said, the plus and the minuses are always going to be there. So either the parameter of awarding has to change, or either the guidelines have to change. Either of the two, if they changes, it makes a unique combination for us to offer. See, it's a possibility where we are not restricting the talent. Please understand, today you can go on YouTube and you can post your short film as small as 2 minutes to 3 minutes. And if you start getting viewers, you start earning money out of it. From the day your subscribers grow. You don't need to really go and spend money on marketing if your content is good. These platforms can leave a lot of impact for you. I saw one movie which was done by Sharda, Sharda University, Engineering Girls. It was amongst the top 10 on Netflix at one point of time. So, it doesn't matter. The content has to be appealing to the audience. The audience needs to now decide what they want to watch. So if I would like to watch something which is uncensored, I could still go out and watch it. There's nobody stopping me on the net. It is the choice of a viewer as to what are the likes and the dislikes. And I think that is what an open platform means when we talk about OTT. But by that, I am not anyways saying that the guidelines don't need to be there. They have to be there. There has to be a structure. And I'm sure the government is looking into it, and it should very well and very soon be adopted in some other format.
I think Prakhar Garg must have got answer to his question, because next question was related to that. How could we connect the new era of mass media with network marketing? And how do we analyze what a good topic to work on?
So the first one is still simple to answer. The second one, I think, is the most difficult, and everybody in the industry would really look forward to give their own suggestions on that. While creating or development of a content and networking of a content could very well be a very strategic decision could be taken by the people who are looking forward to get into it. And usually it has been seen and observed. I'm saying usually it has been seen and observed that creative guys are not business guys. That's how people believe. But today we have seen the creative guys also understanding the business side of it. When they have to adopt the networking gimmicks, whether it is getting onto a free platform or whether it is going to be on a paid platform, I think the world has become too small today. It's very easy to reach across nationally and internationally to any of the people, because everyone is on the dearth of content. And over the last 3 months, we have seen those episodes and those programs being broadcasted, which we used to see 20 years or 25 years back from now, which means there is dearth of content today. India produces 1,800 films year on year, sir, while only 800 see the brightest of the light of releasing in a picture hall. 1,000 movies every year have been dumped or kept somewhere where nobody has seen the light of those films. It's a revolution. It's a time for all of those people to come down, present the content which has already been there, and to be earning revenue out of it. So it's not just it's not just a positive side for those who are going to be entering this industry, but it's a positive impact for those who already produce some content which could not be released during that time. So it's a great hope. It's a great opportunity for them. And the second part, although I would say it's completely audience-driven industry. So whether it's a filmmaker, whether it is an advertiser, whether it's a creative guy, whether it's a business professional, the nerves of audience is very important. You never know how and what ways the audience can react. We have seen the biggest of the banners going out without earning a penny, and we have seen the movies without even a single star earning a fortune out of it. So that nerve of the audience has to be taken up, has to be understood. And that's what the art of presentation is, because whenever a creative guy, whether he's a gaming artist or an animator or a filmmaker, produces something, it's not for his own sake. It's to show the audience. So I believe that has to be more thought through. Like you think of a story, your strategy also has to be thought through.
Okay, Saurabh Basu says that he recently watched live performance of Indian folk from Rajasthan on webinar session. So do you feel that the webinar session or OTT platforms could be new opportunities, prime platforms for all kind of live performing arts to reach to the mass viewers, henceforth virtually during post-COVID-19 era, the era of neo-normal theatre or live performance?
So I would say, challenges become opportunities sometimes. And that's what I have been seeing in my life. Whenever there is a challenge, it has been converted to an opportunity. And I have seen it driven by many people in the known vicinity as well. See, when it comes to a tough time, either you give up or you change and create something new for you. People were asking me, when this COVID started, people started asking me, this live performance, event management industry is going to slip down. There's no future. Next 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, if the situation continues, it's an end. I just answered them with one thing. I said, please visit Book My Show. You would know on an average, there are 10 to 20 shows which are now being done online. Each of the veterans in this industry have adopted this digital technology as another tool. You have to now understand everything is happening at your comfort zone. You are sitting at your home and watching a performance where you would have not been able to buy a ticket in the premium class. But today you are sitting at the convenience of your home and you're watching a live performance happening in front of you. You can see a lot of compilations which are happening. So I don't see a challenge where the audience is not going to adapt it. MESC on its own through their platforms of Vidyadan have been hosting more than 60 plus webinars, classes across the network of our 2 lakh plus students. The reach has made the impact and the content being very popular. So I see this as a great opportunity, and I would still believe that all those people who are in this industry of live performances or some other way who are artists have a unique platform now to present, and by virtue of which not just earn a revenue, but also to reach to those caliber of people, those masses of people, which ideally they would have not been able to. So it is how we have to look at it, whether we look at it from a negative side or whether we look at it as a positive side. I look at it from a positive side, and I see that the industry is also looking at it from a growth perspective.
Okay, so now next question is connected to that. When films used to be released on cinema hall, then through the collections we knew it's a hit film or a flop film. How do we know that on OTT platform?
So, I would say there are different models which a OTT platform buys your content or partners your content with. So it depends what kind of negotiation, what kind of the deals you have with the OTT platforms. It can be subscription-based, revenue which can come to you directly, or it can be a one-time cost fee which you can earn out of it. If you look into it, overall a normal film which gets released in the Indian market, we say they have done 40 crore, 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore. Indian population is 130 crores. Today we have internet penetration and digital platforms available for at least 27% of them, which means the market is huge, the potential is huge. So the way the deal has to be done, the way the business model has to be worked, the revenue model has to be worked with these OTT platforms can really make a significant difference. I would say it is all on the content and no more on the stars today. What has really taken a big leap now is the story, is the content, is the direction, is the way it is presented. It doesn't matter for people now when they're watching an OTT platform whether there is a big name attached to that web series or not. You would see a lot of those web series which in India have been done by unknown stars, and they have gradually become the stars of the next world. So revenue and certainly and it's a big platform. OTTs are making a big move. They are getting more into the phones now, and the moment this bandwidth, the internet issues which are now very much there in the country are further taken care, I am sure the number of subscribers which have jumped up 60% in the last 3 months would gradually jump up 100% to 200% in the coming 1 year or 2 year time, because people are not adopting it. They have accepted the OTT platforms. They have accepted the digital era of learning. They have accepted the digital era of entertainment, and they have accepted the digital era of communication.
Sir, I think we are running out of time and the question bank is swelling up.
No,
I'll just take one question directly that is related to you, that is coming straight to you. It says we are the largest producers of Indian cinema in the world. But when will the UGC or MESC government perform? I think this is a broken English, but anyway, I'll make some sense out of it. But when will the UGC or MESC government platforms come together and make theatre and filmmaking education recognized as academic form?
So I would say Sharda is the best example to talk about. We already have a partnership with you. We have partnerships with 100+ universities and colleges in the country today. We have jumped into school education. We run across with 1400 schools in the country today, and gradually we should be adopting the curriculum. The schools which are going to be adopting the curriculum in the next 6 months would cross 5,000 numbers. So I would say that the formalization of the education in the entertainment has already been there. You have been doing drawing, painting, music in your school days. Only thing is we have come out of that creative side and forgot it, you know. You used to be there. A creative guy has been there from the birth in you. The media guy has always been there. So we have formalized the education. There are degree programs, whether it is BSc, whether it is BWalk, whether it is BA or BCom. There are formalized structures of the programs. As such, in media and entertainment industry, what matters more is your skill set. What matters more is your talent. But having a degree or a qualification added to it is always an add-on and a plus point for you to look forward for either in higher education or for getting into a kind of an exposure which can drive more of international benefits to you. So it has been there, it will be there, and further we will be structuring our programs and making them more stronger day by day. Thanks to Sharda for giving me this platform and offering me a time to come over and speak to all of you. It was really great being here, ma'am. Thank you.
It was an honor to have you, sir. And thank you so much. And I hope that the knowledge partnership of MSc and Sharda University grows and our students benefit from it maximum. And hope that we can churn out professionally skilled students from Sharda University to the industry.
Sure, it will be.
So that they are not just Alice in Wonderland in the media. They go there with confidence and they know the skill. They know that how to get the job and how to read a screenplay or how to perform as an actor, director, or they're skilled, you know, to be there.
For sure, for sure.
Thank you.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
The world is here.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva
The world is here.
Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva.
Hello, my name is Elvis Sequeira.
मैं हूं मलकीत सिंह।
Hi, my name is Sathak.
आप सुन रहे हैं ग्रेटर नोएडा का अपना सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन सुनो शारदा 90.8 FM।
Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva
The world is here.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva.
The world is here. here. The world is here at Sharda University. Where are you?